Good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning, and I want to remind you tonight it's our winter fundraising drive. We could not deliver this reporting without listeners like you. All of KUOW's work is people-powered and community-funded. So if you're able to help out with a tax-deductible end-of-year gift, maybe a $200 gift or something like $5 or $10 a month, click the link in the show notes and you can pick out a thank you gift and let us know why you listen. Thank you so much. Now, on to the news. It's Friday, December 19th. Shout out to our line workers, sandbag fillers, highway plowers, and the many, many other workers and volunteers who've kept at it today as we close in on 2 weeks of damaging floods. It's been one of the most intense flooding cycles this state has ever seen. Here's where things stand as we head into the weekend. In King County, a couple of neighborhoods in Auburn are still under go-now evacuation orders because water has not fully receded from flooding earlier this week. 2 shelters are still open there. In Skagit County, residents are encouraged to return home safely while remaining cautious of potential hazards. About 4,300 people do not have power this afternoon across the region, roughly half of them in the Puget Sound Energy area and the rest through Snohomish PUD. PSC expects to restore the majority of customers by midnight tonight. By the way, flood victims in more than a dozen counties can now apply for emergency cash assistance from Washington state. That includes King, Pierce, Snohomish, and Skagit County residents. People who qualify could receive anywhere from $450 to $1,700 depending on household size. Applications are accepted until January 15th. Seattle was spared from the worst of the flooding over the past week, but the raging rivers in western Washington sent lots of trees and logs into Puget Sound. All of that can mean trouble for captains sailing through Elliott Bay. Casey Martin reports.
Crews aboard the region's water taxis are used to some debris in the water this time of year. But this month, with record-setting river flooding, it's been worse. To avoid crashing into a big floating log, Terry Federer from King County Metro says they use tools straight out of a spy movie, infrared goggles.
The debris in the water has a different heat signature than the water itself. So with the infrared goggles, the lookout can spot different types of debris and then tell the captain that they should move to this direction or to that direction to change course.
Federer says they can not only spot logs, but also large animals like whales. Water taxis are nimble enough, he says, to quickly sail around them. Casey Martin, KUOW News.
Traveling this weekend? You will not be the only one. Holiday travel is kicking into gear, and so is the snow. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for the Cascade Mountains from now through 4 o'clock tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. Snoqualmie and Stevens Passes could get 1 to 2 feet of snow. Paradise and Mount Baker could get 2 to 3 feet. Drive slow, and you'll want to carry chains. Did I say drive slow? Washington Governor Bob Ferguson is proposing major new investments to improve the state's aging roads and bridges. He held a news conference today, and Scott Greenstone covered that for us.
Just moments into his press conference, Governor Ferguson had to stop and move his podium.
This thing is dripping so much right now that
He was standing in a Washington State Department of Transportation garage announcing $2 billion for maintaining Washington infrastructure, and the ceiling was leaking. Recent flooding has done serious damage to a number of roads and highways in Washington, but Ferguson said that's on top of serious neglect.
So to be blunt, the state has neglected its core transportation infrastructure for too long. Those are just the facts. Too many of our bridges are in dire need of repair.
342 bridges in the state are 80 years or older, which Ferguson said is the average life expectancy of a bridge. Scott Greenstone, KUOW News.
And how about some cash for the ferries? Ferguson's budget proposal calls for buying 3 new hybrid electric ferries. He proposes putting more than $1 billion total into the ferry system in the coming years. If the legislature approves the plan, it would double the number of new ferries in the pipeline, according to the Seattle Times. The state's goal is to have 16 new hybrid electric ferry boats in the water by 2040. You may hear even more talk than normal about the Hawks today. The Seattle Seahawks have punched their ticket to the playoffs.
Darnold has time, looks inside, it's caught! Touchdown! Make an extra point, make a conversion, I don't care what it is. The Seahawks win the game again on the last play of the game.
Steve Rabel with the dramatic final call at Lumen Field last night. They beat the LA Rams with a 2-point conversion in overtime on the final play of the game. Woo! With 2 games left in the regular season, the Seahawks control their own destiny to snag the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Heavy snow's falling in the mountains, and several ski areas are finally about to open up. Crystal Mountain will have a limited opening tomorrow with a cap of 1,000 vehicles. Drivers will have to navigate delays on damaged Highway 410 to get there. White Pass plans to open Sunday. The summit at Snoqualmie is planning a Monday start. Mission Ridge near Wenatchee is reopening after repairing damage from high winds last week. And Stevens Pass still plans on opening this season, despite the closure of a large stretch of Highway 2 due to extensive storm damage. And we end our sports section today with a remembrance. Retired NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his wife and 2 children were among 7 people killed in a plane crash in North Carolina. The 55-year-old was born and raised in Vancouver, Washington. In a statement, NASCAR said Biffle's passion, integrity, and his commitment to fans made a lasting impact on the sport. Now, our feature story today. For Western Washington's most frail and medically fragile seniors and their caregivers, the recent floods and evacuations pose special challenges. Some residents of skilled nursing facilities and adult family homes have had to transfer abruptly, or they're sheltering in hotels and hoping to return home soon. Amy Radel has more.
Selena Hayes lives in Kent. Her 74-year-old mother, whose nickname is Angel, lives in a memory care facility nearby in Auburn. She has physical disabilities and dementia. Hayes says when the flooding began, the maps indicated her mother's location was safe, but then she heard from the staff.
I received a call asking if I could possibly take her home with me because they were told they were at a level 2. So just to be prepared.
A level 2 evacuation means be ready to leave at a moment's notice. Level 3 means leave now. Hayes says she panicked a little bit because her home is not equipped for her mom, and she doesn't have much leave time built up from her new job. Friends suggested she contact another memory care facility in Kent that she'd looked at previously. That facility had room and was able to provide so-called respite care for her mom for a daily fee.
And they were very kind and said they could take her, and then they were able to go and pick her up and bring her up to the East Hill of Kent where she could be safe from all the flooding.
Hayes says this was a great solution, and her mom coped pretty well with the abrupt move. But her mom's dementia made it complicated. A friend visited and texted Hayes saying, quote, "Your mom is pretty sad and doesn't remember why she's here. Her usual treats, like a Coke and a TV show, failed to cheer her up." When Hayes visited, it was clear her mom was disoriented by the change.
She saw me and she did get upset, and she was trying to figure out what was going on, and I told her, it's like a hotel, and we'll get you back home as soon as the flooding is, subsided.
Her mom did return to her home facility this past week, but according to the state's Department of Social and Health Services, scores of vulnerable people have made similar journeys as a result of the flooding, and some will not be able to return soon. Residents of 4 adult family homes in the town of Pacific have been transferred because those homes were flooded. In Lakewood, another adult family home was damaged by a falling tree. Residents will have to stay in a hotel for a couple weeks during repairs. 15 different facilities throughout Western Washington have faced evacuations so far. Ashley Hogue has been keeping careful tabs on the Green River near one of the skilled nursing facilities she oversees in Auburn.
We're okay on the level 3. That one's pretty north of us, but the level 2 stay ready warning is about a half a mile away from us. So we're watching it very closely.
Hogue is a regional director of operations for Caldera Care skilled nursing facilities. The Auburn facility includes 75 to 80 residents with complex medical needs. Hogue says she's been in touch with authorities every hour, and they have a transfer plan for each person.
And if for some reason things worsen and we receive guidance to evacuate, we're ready to go. We have a lot of residents and staff to consider, so we have to be overly cautious and prepared to keep everybody safe.
Hogue also oversees a skilled nursing facility in Centralia on the banks of the Skookumchuck River. They evacuated there 4 years ago, and it took hours.
It didn't actually end up flooding in the building, but it came under the building, and that would not have been a scenario that we wanted to sit and wait around and not know how it was going to turn out.
Those patients were transferred to other facilities in their network. But Hogue says some of their residents are short-term, just there for rehabilitation or recuperation from surgery. Those people have another reason to be anxious. They're worried about flooding in the homes they're supposed to return to. Amy Radel, KUOW News.
Next week on Seattle Now, we'll learn how scientists track atmospheric rivers before they make landfall. It starts by flying into them.
The research flights themselves are not new. We've been doing this for decades with hurricanes, if you're familiar with the term hurricane hunters.
Hear more Monday morning. That's all for today from the KUOW Newsroom in Seattle. Our producer's Andy Hurst. I will be out for a couple of weeks, thanks to those who will be carrying on the news coverage while I'm gone. I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. Have a great weekend.